Greetings, people. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Pongo, also known as the Honorable Metaphor, and I'm here in Freetown at the VAfrica studios. Today with me, I have a very wonderful young gentleman by the name retired Colonel Guy Deacon. He's a 60-year-old British national who was diagnosed 10 years ago with Parkinson's disease. I haven't done a lot of research into what Parkinson's disease, so I think I'll let him talk more about it because this is more about him. Guy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Please introduce yourself. Like, who is Guy, and what is he all about?
I'm a very ordinary bloke. That's the first thing. And I was in the army for 35 years, and I retired 2 years ago. And I was in the armoured bit of the army, so I was doing about tanks and vehicles and all these things. And my last job was looking after that bit of the army in the United Kingdom. When I retired in 2019, I was always going to, and I decided I was going to do a journey through Africa because I've dreamt of this for years and years and years. Ever since I joined the army, I wanted to do this journey, and I was going to travel through Africa and get to South Africa as a voyage of discovery. But I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and for some people that's the end of the story. But for me, it just made me even more determined to make the journey.
How did you feel when you got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at the time?
It was strange, actually, because I was 50 years old, so very young to get Parkinson's disease. And although I'd heard of the disease, I had no idea what it was because nobody does. And I had certain symptoms, like my right arm wouldn't work, I couldn't write properly, I couldn't clean my teeth, and I couldn't do my shoelaces up. Simple things that I would normally have been able to do. And I thought, this is a bit unusual. And I was told to go and see a doctor, and I didn't know what would happen. And the doctor said, you've got a problem, you need to go and see a neurologist. So I went to a neurologist, which is a specialist in the nervous system, and it took him about 2 minutes to tell me I had Parkinson's disease. And in England and around the world, Parkinson's is a really bad thing by name. Everybody gets really frightened of it and think, oh, my goodness me. But he said, you've got Parkinson's disease, it won't kill you, you're not going to die, it'll get worse and things will get more difficult. But if you take the pills, you should be fine for as long as everybody else. And so I was shocked by it, but I wasn't totally disheartened. I thought it was better than some diseases you can have, but it was just something new I would have to cope with and live with.
At what point did you decide to change? Because, like you said earlier, before we started this interview, part of your journey through the Africa, like let's just say throughout the world, is raising awareness of Parkinson's disease. At what point did you decide to change your dream of driving throughout Africa to make it more about Parkinson's disease awareness?
I wanted to do the journey always. So the first thing was I was going to prove to my friends and my family and people back in England that just because I had Parkinson's, I wasn't going to stop, and I wasn't going to let it stop me doing what I wanted to do. And that was easy. So I drove through Europe, through Morocco, through Mauritania, through Western Sahara, and then eventually through Guinea to Sierra Leone, all by myself. And that was difficult because things are more difficult when you have Parkinson's, and I'll describe it later. But I could tell my friends back in England that I was doing what I was doing, and I was happy with that. When I got to Sierra Leone, of course, that was when COVID came and struck, and suddenly the world stopped spinning for 2 years, and I had to go back to England, and I left my van here, and I went to England, and during that time I met somebody called Omotola Thomas, who runs a charity called Parkinsons Africa, and she told me, and it was very obvious really, that we always think of Parkinson's as about white men in North America and Europe, and that's because that's what we know about it. And she said, no, it's everywhere, and in Africa as well. And she, at the age of 30, had Parkinson's. So, well, that's amazing. And I read more about it, and I discovered that, of course, there's no reason why Africans and Europeans and Chinese and South Americans can't have Parkinson's. They do. We just don't know how many people have got it. And those people that do have it, people don't understand it, so they don't know what the problem is. And that's really what I've become aware of, and that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's a straightforward neurological condition where you don't have enough dopamine in your body, and so your arms and legs don't work properly. You can shake a bit, and you can dribble, you can't do your buttons up, you can't write properly. All these things are very obvious if you know what you're talking about, and that's what Parkinson's does. It stops you doing these little things, and people don't understand that it's nothing special about it. It's a straightforward neurological condition where people can't do things because they have no dopamine, their nervous system doesn't work properly, and that's the issue. Because if people understand it, then they can do something about it. And that's what I'm trying to do, is make sure they know about it and they know to look for it.
Okay. What if one is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease? What do they do to make it better, to make life easy? Like you said, you couldn't at some point, you couldn't tie your shoelaces, you can't do your buttons up, but right now you are driving through Africa on your own. What keeps you going?
The first thing that keeps me going is my mental resolve. I'm determined to do this, and it's very difficult sometimes because I don't have the strength to move things and to do things. So it's in your head, and you think you can beat this thing, and you can try hard, and you can. That's the first thing. The second thing is I am very reliant upon people helping me. There are things I know I can't do, so I have people who help me move things, and people will join me for bits of the journey and drive with me, and they can encourage me and they can help me prepare food and all these things which I can't do for myself. So relying upon people to help me is really important. Third, you can do things to make life easy. Like I don't have a shirt with buttons on anymore. I wear a t-shirt. I have elastic shoes, so I can just slip them on.
Okay.
I have a rucksack, and I don't carry much money with me because I can't get the notes out of my pocket. So everything I've changed my lifestyle to make life easier. And fourthly, of course, there are drugs which help. And I take quite a lot of pills every day, and that makes a big difference. And I know they're not available to everybody, but there's lots of them available. If people know they've got it, they can go and ask for them. They cost money, of course, and that's another problem altogether. It's just another issue. But in North America and the United Kingdom, there are lots of drugs available because that's where the research is all being done. And of course, one day there will be a cure, but we don't know who we can provide a cure for because we don't know who's got it. And we don't know who's got it because we don't know what to look for, and people don't recognize it. So if there's somebody in your community, your family or your village who is shuffling around and looks older than they really are, and they can't do things, they're shaking, because this is what happens. They shake all the time, and they dribble, and they can't eat properly, and everything's very slow. That might be Parkinson's, and it's not any other problem than that. It's just a simple neurological condition, and they need help. They don't need to be pushed away, and you can't catch it from them. It's not contagious.
How do people, let's say my grandmother or my aunt has been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, how best can we help her? Like you say, we shouldn't push them away, it's not contagious. How best do we help these people?
The first thing is you love them, because they will feel very unhappy and they will feel very inadequate because they can't help do the things they used to do. They can't help prepare food, and they will feel very miserable, and it affects your mood very badly. So they need to be looked after and cared for and understood. Secondly, they do need help, but not as much help as you think. They just need a bit of help preparing things and all that sort of stuff. They need understanding and they need kindness, and that is the most important thing. And treated as an ordinary person in the community rather than somebody who's a pariah who they have to avoid, because you won't catch it from them because doesn't spread. It's yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can
We can shake hands. We can do anything. There's nothing contagious about it. It's purely if I don't have enough dopamine in my body, it's reduced to a low level, just enough to make my muscles work. When I have pills as well, and that's all it is. And if we know about that, then we can try and get some help for them and get the right pills for them. But we don't know how many there are, so we don't know if we can't put pressure on ministers to say, look how many people have got Parkinson's.
Okay. Earlier you talked about you said there are Parkinson's Africa. What?
Yeah, there are a number of charities about Parkinson's, but they're normally about looking after people in North America and Canada and some in the UK and everything as well. I represent two charities. One is Cure Parkinson's, because we believe that it's possible to find a cure, and that's by using other drugs in other ways or by doing research into the way the brain works or all these things. It is possible to find a cure, and that would be brilliant for me. I think it will come too late for me, but it would be brilliant. And secondly, there's Parkinson's Africa, and they're trying to make sure people know about it, and they're raising awareness so that people can make informed decisions about their life, about what it's like to have Parkinson's, and they know the questions to ask, and they know who to talk to, and they know where to get help. And there are refuges and there are hostels and all this sort of stuff which Parkinson's Africa is involved in, where people with Parkinson's can go and they're looked after together and they understand each other, because that's what it's a very lonely thing being ill, and it's a very lonely thing being ill with something you don't understand, and it's very bad when you can't do anything because you're shaking and everything, and it's on top of other things as well. And so we need to give these people sympathy, but recognizing it is the first thing.
You also talked about a film that you are creating. So I believe this film is part of your journey, right?
Yes, when I went back during COVID, I met a filmmaker, and he was taken by the story on two counts. First of all, and I don't really believe this. He thinks that I'm doing an extraordinarily difficult, dangerous thing. Of course, I'm not. I'm doing something that everybody does. The roads will be difficult, and the rain will be difficult, and I have to be careful in some countries. But along the way, I will meet wonderful, friendly people, and I will go through fantastically colourful countries where there's fantastic things happening. So it will make a very interesting documentary, and it will show me doing the things I do for the benefit of people in Europe saying, if Deacon can do this, I can do this too. If he can go and drive a car through Africa, then I can jolly well walk to the shops. Or if he's going to be able to stay and camp and all these things and prepare his own food, then I can certainly look after my grandchildren. And it just tells people in the UK and Europe that just because you've got Parkinson's doesn't mean to say you have to stop. That's one message. The other message is every country I go through, from Sierra Leone to South Africa now, I'm going to stop and speak to the press and tell people on television, on radio, wherever I can, Parkinson's exists. It's not a problem. It's just a fact of life, and there are answers and there are solutions to it, and we can get somewhere. We just need to know about it. So if you think a friend of yours has Parkinson's, suggest to it, and he can go and see his doctor, and the doctor can turn around and say, maybe, maybe not, and then we will know about how many people and how much work we have to do to find a cure. That's the aim of the game, and the film will show that, and hopefully will be shown around the world when I finish.
Yeah, we are definitely looking forward to that. So what countries from Sierra Leone? What countries are you going to be passing through? And what at what time do you expect to arrive in South Africa?
It's a very good question. The answer is I don't know when I'm going to arrive in South Africa. I've said I will get there for Christmas time, and I want to be in Cape Town for Christmas. That's my aim. To get there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the Atlantic coast, if that makes sense. So from here, I go to Liberia, then I go to the Ivory Coast. This is like a geography test, isn't it? Ivory Coast, then Ghana, then Benin and Togo, then Nigeria. I'm not going to go through Equatorial Guinea because that's very small. I'm going to go round that through Cameroon and into Gabon. Then it's the two Congos, and then finally Angola. And in Angola, I will breathe a sigh of relief because the weather will start to change. It'll become open savanna, and there will not be rain the whole time. And then I'm going to perhaps
Too much sun.
there won't be quite so bad, exactly. Then I'm going to go to Zambia, perhaps Zimbabwe because I've never been there. Then to Namibia, and then back to South Africa and Botswana as well. The thing is, because I'm retired, I have so much time, and Africa is a wonderful, wonderful continent with so much variety. And I love things like the people and the music and the things I will see and the things I will enjoy. And I would be crazy to go back to England early rather than enjoy the trip as I'm doing it.
Okay, that's good. I'm hoping sometime towards the end of the year I'm gonna visit home. So maybe we can meet again at that point if I do manage to visit home and have a chat again.
It would be wonderful. It would be wonderful. But I hope you follow me because I will be doing Facebook and blogs and all these things as well. And I hope that people who are watching, who have access to the internet, follow me and to follow me on Facebook and the reports I make because it'll be an interesting journey.
Okay, talking about following you, what are your social media platforms? Maybe someone wants to get in touch with you and support the journey, or maybe they might want to interview you when you get to Angola or Nigeria or something like that. How do they get in touch with you?
Right. Well, I can't remember what they are, but I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Polar Steps, which follows my route, and I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram. So all of them are covered by me. And you just have to put my name in, which I will show you later, and you can then perhaps post later.
So what we'll do is during this video we are going to put the social media handles at the bottom there so that people can follow you, and those who want to contact you can contact you. So what are your last words to the people watching this interview right now?
Parkinson's is not as bad as people think. It's a shock to get, and it's a straightforward condition. You can't catch people, and if you know of anybody who you think might have Parkinson's, love them and care for them as your own family, as if you would want to be treated yourself. And that will make their lives much better because it's difficult anyway, and we can make their life better by caring for them properly. It's as simple as that.
Love and care, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you need to show people who have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And if you think your friend or a family member has been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, make your way to the nearest hospital, talk to them, and let them know your concerns. And I'm definitely sure they might be able to help you in terms of making them better and in terms of how you can live and treat that person. Like I said, the symptoms of Parkinson's disease is your nerves stop working the way they used to because of lower dopamine in your system. You can't do things that you usually were able to do, like tie your shoes, button. Even like you said, it doesn't carry a lot of cash because it's hard to pull it out and count it. So if you think someone has it, make your way to the nearest hospital. Thank you very much, Guy, for joining us. We wish you well on your journey. We really do wish you well, and we hope that this brings the right change that it's supposed to do in the change that you imagine that it's going to bring. And we hope it won't be too late for you for the queue. I really do hope that. I really do hope that. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. And thank you very much for watching. Remember, do follow Guy and his journey. He's doing something that is wonderful. It is really wonderful. Yeah, he's a 60-year-old retired army colonel who's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and is driving on his own all the way from the UK to South Africa. So if he can do it, you can do it too. Thank you very much. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.